Wait, why are you going to trust me and not one of the hundreds of other videos on this exact same topic? Well, number one, I'm a student. I'm currently a junior at Harvard, and I also one day did take the SAT. The second thing, I won't sell you anything or have any ads or sponsors in this video, so you can literally just watch the whole thing through without having to skip around. And the third thing, this is no AI slop. I've watched some other YouTube videos on SAT prep, and they literally generate the tips and tricks using ChatGPT. It's pretty obvious. So I've actually helped a million plus students on my YouTube channel with real strategies. So let's get started. Section one is going to be on test day and test taking tips. This is most helpful if you have a test coming up pretty soon, but also helpful just to keep in mind in general. The second thing is prep strategies. If you have your test tomorrow, probably still watch this just because of strategy number 4, but this is going to be most helpful for people who are prepping. And the third is the best new resources. This is the most helpful if you have a ton of time left to prep, a couple months, couple weeks. What is the most important resource you should really grind? So starting with testing tips, TTT. All right, so hack number 1 is a computer hack. Again, I told you, these aren't AI generated. It's stuff that comes from up here. So number 1, do you know that blue light actually causes fatigue? I'm sure you've experienced this. Obviously, people will wear blue light glasses or whatever. What I like to do instead is keep your computer at 50 to 65% brightness, right? So we're all taking the SAT digital now, if you didn't know already. And so you will have literal pupil constriction if you are reading on a super, super bright blue screen. So I'd recommend 50 to 65% brightness. And the second thing is try to see if you can enable night shift or night light on your computer. I've found that the best temperature that works for me is around like 4000 K, 4000 Kelvin over here. It's like the daylight temperature, right? The most comfortable. In fact, I even have my light over here. You guys will see this in my totally not professional setup. That's literally 4000 K. So I really like 4000 K, would recommend it. All right. Next, order matters. So you would expect that, hey, let me just start on question 1 and go all the way through. But there's actually a good strategy for this, and I promise it makes a difference. So I would strongly recommend first doing vocab, which is questions 1 through 5 on the reading and writing section, then questions 18 through 23, then 24 to 27. So you're essentially doing 18 to 27. That's transitions into grammar, and then end with doing all of the super long reading passages. So what this allows you to do is basically get the writing out of the way, right? So it's a reading and writing section, get the English, get the writing out of the way. Usually this is easier for students. Again, work with million plus students generally is the easier thing. And then you have the really long reading comprehension passages. You're already warmed up now, right? Because you've been doing some reading for the grammar. It's not as hard reading, but you're doing some reading. And so now you can do the actual reading comprehension passages with a warmed up mind, especially because it's the first section too. All right. Yeah, reading fatigue is real. Trust me. And so you can get free points on the grammar. Hack number 3 is the main idea hack. So you know those types of questions on the reading passage where you have to hopefully read the whole thing and then try to understand what the main idea of the passage is. So my strategy is I will end up reading the whole passage by the end of it. But if you're like stuck on a main idea question, rather than rereading the whole thing, just focus on the first sentence and the last sentence in the passage. And so I found that specifically for the 2026 to 27 passages, although if you're watching this in like 2028, it's probably still true. The hook, which is the first sentence, and then the conclusion, almost always have the same keywords that are going to be in the answer choice. So strongly, strongly recommend this. Ignore the middle lines, the middle 3, go for the first sentence and the last sentence in the paragraph, especially because students will get stuck on trying to understand some weird vocab or some jargon that's in the middle. So do this strat. The fourth thing, remember that culture is amazing. So this is kind of an interesting one, but basically any passages that are about culture, music, or art, you're going to find that they will be positive and the answer choice is going to be positive. So if there's any answer that's like critical or negative about the culture, you can just eliminate it. So the way I like to think of it is if something doesn't sound PC on the test, it's probably not the right answer. And this actually works. Number 5 is learn Desmos. So you guys probably already know this by now, but you have Desmos on the test. Obviously, you can do everything by hand, but it's just not the move. If you really want like a high score, you would basically have to learn Desmos. And I had this video that is doing super well. It's literally just every SAT math Desmos hack in 14 minutes. So I go through every single one, and there's a cheat sheet PDF in it. I'll leave it down, the link to this video in the description down below. Super popular in the SAT community, but watch it after you finish this video, obviously. All right, so section 2 is on prep strategies. So the best strategy here is focus on, there's a couple different things here. First is timing. So I think students will like, they get these emails that'll be like, oh, let's do the question of the day or something like that. And they don't spend enough time actually doing a paced test. And I get the feeling like, trust me, when you're studying, it's like, oh, let me do 20 questions and let me stop, get a snack, do another 20 questions and so forth. And that's often the strategy you would use for like really big tests. Like for instance, the medical test, the MCAT test. But for the SAT, you really need to just get down the timing of the section. So you really just have to kind of sit down through it and just spam as many practice tests as possible and time the sections. If you really can't do the whole test and follow the exact testing structure, at least do the section and time the section. That way you can really get a good intuitive understanding of timing per question. It's just absolutely essential. You have to know, like, and you have to have a feel for it, that how much time should I be spending per question. Otherwise, if you're really aiming for a top score like 1600, it's just not going to cut it. All right. Second strategy here is a personalized smart book. So a lot of people have this strategy already. It's not much of a like a proprietary secret or anything, but basically, make a Google sheet, make a notepad, and every single answer that you get wrong on a test, on a practice test, label it the test form code wherever you can find that question, or take a screenshot if you're using Notion or Apple Notes or something, and mark, what you got right, neutral, wrong, whatever it might be, and why you got it wrong. I had a friend who literally improved his score by like 30 points on each section without even doing much other prep, just by actually thinking through what questions he got wrong in his first test and then making a strategy on like, here's how I'm going to avoid this exact mistake next time. And oftentimes it'll be some strategy like, oh, culture is amazing, where you're going to come up with a hack or strategy for yourself. All right. The strategy number 3 is more of a tips thing, but again, don't do those random questions here or there. Those one question a day emails that you get from those scam sites like Princeton Review, not good. And then SAT vocab is also not a real thing. For whatever reason, people have been misled for like 50 years now that they need to memorize a list of 500 words. It's just not a thing anymore. And if anything, I'm going to be honest, because I'm a junior in college now, they've kind of dumbed down the SAT now. The vocab is not even as hard as it used to be, not even when I took it, but like years and years ago. So don't even sign up for those SAT Anki cards or Quizlets or stuff like that. It's literally a waste of time. All right, final thing, practice on Blue Book. This kind of brings me into the best new resources section, in my opinion, the most important thing here, but practice on Blue Book, obviously official resources. And I would recommend, if you're doing some older test on paper or something, keep Desmos open separately. Like, again, you need to build a good intuition for how to use the tools, get really fast at it, and also build this habit of like, hey, I'm going to look here at the question, look to the right, look back and forth, right, from your test to Desmos without losing your train of thought and concentration. All right, best resources. So number 1, past practices. You just have to grind these. This is literally the best thing you can do. It's pretty well known at this point that although the SAT kind of correlates with IQ and intelligence, again, people can really study for this test. And this is how. You have to just grind through those past practice tests. I would also recommend using the educator question bank. You can just Google this and filter by difficulty. So if you're getting like a pretty good score, start to filter by difficulty hard, because some of those easy questions in the math section, right? It's like literally everyone can do them, like 5th or 6th grade math. And so would strongly recommend filtering by difficulty there and just focusing on some of the harder questions, and then maybe even making a time section based on those hard questions. The third thing is, I actually have this other video. In addition to the Desmos video you should watch, you should actually watch this one first. I think it's probably one of the best videos I've made. It has 885,000 views, but it's literally every SAT grammar rule you need to know to ace the English part of the reading and writing. And then the final thing, this recently came out, but Gemini, which is, if you guys, I'm sure everyone watching this video knows ChatGPT. Gemini is Google's version of their AI software, and you can ask it to just make an SAT test. I just tried it out. I actually wouldn't strongly recommend this. Like, use official resources first, practice test, Blue Book, Khan Academy. Their questions, they partnered with Princeton Review to write them. So the questions are just not as legit as the real ones. But if you've exhausted every resource and you're like, yeah, I've taken like almost every practice test I can get my hands on, or if you're looking for like really customized personal personal prep where this thing can really understand where your mistakes are coming from, just try it out at least once. Just go to Gemini. I'll put the link down and try it out. It's, again, totally free. Final thing, join my Discord server with thousands of like-minded students, super ambitious kids there, and tons of opportunities for high schoolers. So go check it out. Link is in the description. All right, see ya.